Welcome to the Burnout Recovery Podcast, a guiding resource dedicated to healthcare professionals on their journey to overcoming burnout. Spearheaded by Dr. Joe Braid, a certified professional coach and rehabilitation physician.
Hello and welcome back to the Burnout Recovery Podcast. This week I'm going to start with a recent personal story. I'm driving home from work. It was a few weeks ago, a Thursday evening, and I'm really noticing I'm gripping the steering wheel a little tighter than usual. My jaw is clenched, my shoulders are up around my ears, and I'm replaying this interaction over and over in my head. I've been assisting a patient to get to one of the departments within the hospital, pretty routine stuff, helping someone where they need to get to where they needed to go. But as we were walking together, this patient unleashed on me with a string of expletives that seemingly came out of nowhere. And I've been in healthcare for a little while now, knowing that patients can be unpredictable, but this scenario very much caught me off guard. And in that moment, I felt my face flush. My heart started racing, and honestly, I actually felt quite hurt. Here I was trying to help this person after a lengthy consultation with them, and I was getting verbally attacked in that moment. For what exactly? Felt like I was doing my job. Now, I didn't end up crying in the staff room or in the non-clinical area that we have in our team, but I've definitely been there before, and maybe you have too. But I really noticed I was stirred up. And you know what I did? I did something that a few years ago I would not have done when I was deep in burnout. I asked for support. I went to my manager and said, hey, look, I need to have a debrief on what just happened. And fortunately, they were available and we had some time to talk it through. And we really reflected on what might have been going on for that patient. You know, travel could have been a factor, feeling unsure about what was happening next, maybe in discomfort, maybe that sense of I've been waiting such a long time to get more answers. And really, none of that excused the behavior, but it helped me understand it really wasn't about me. Here's what I want you to hear today on the podcast. That stirred up feeling on my drive home. That was my body telling me something really important. It was telling me that I need to protect the asset, and the asset is me. You see, when we're in healthcare, we're taught to put everyone else first. The patient comes first, the team comes first, the system has high priority. But here's the thing. If you don't protect yourself, if you don't process these difficult interactions, they can really sort of accumulate in your body and have a sense of building up one upon another. And the patient's words weren't really about me, but my reaction to them, that was about me. That was about my well-being, my emotional state, and my ability to show up for the next patient and the next one after that. When we don't address these moments in time, when we just push through and pretend they don't affect us, we start to build walls. We become cynical. We lose empathy. We start to resent our patients, our colleagues, and sometimes even our families when we get home. But protecting the asset isn't selfish. It's actually the most generous thing you can do, because when you take care of yourself, when you take the time to process these difficult moments, you show up better for everyone else. So here are 3 things you can do when you have one of those interactions that leaves you stirred up. First of all, acknowledge it in the moment. Don't pretend it didn't happen. I know I used to do this in the past, just pushing through and acting like everything was fine. But your body keeps the score. So you could acknowledge that to yourself in the present moment with that lovely self-awareness. That was difficult and that affected me. Secondly, ask for support, one of the 4 pillars of the burnout recovery framework I often talk about. And this was such an important part of processing that afternoon, finding someone, a manager, a colleague, a friend, and saying, I need to talk through what just happened. Don't carry it alone, and we're not meant to process these things in isolation. And thirdly, I invite you to create like a transition ritual or phase for your drive home, or however you're traveling home. Maybe it's three deep breaths before you start your car. Maybe it's a specific song you love to play. Maybe it's a quick voice memo to yourself about one good thing that happened today. And that can really be that moment to help you shift from work mode to home mode. Because here's what I've learned. You are the most important part of your healthcare team. Not that you're more valuable than your patients or your colleagues, but because if you burn out, if you leave, if you become so cynical that you can't connect with people anymore, everyone suffers. We have a lot of challenges in the healthcare system. We're understaffed, overworked, and often underappreciated. But you're not broken, you're a human, and humans need care too. So as I drove home that afternoon, instead of letting that interaction poison my evening with my family, I processed it. I talked it through. I acknowledged that it was hard. And you know what? I was able to walk through my front door and actually be present for the people I love. And that's what protecting the asset looks like. It's not about being selfish. It's about being sustainable. And here's a closing reflective idea for you. What would you tell a colleague who was noticeably upset in one of the non-clinical areas in the workplace? Would you tell them to toughen up and get back to work? Or would you offer them compassion, support, and remind them that they matter too? Whatever you tell that colleague, that's what you need to tell yourself. Thanks for listening to the Burnout Recovery Podcast. If this short episode resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you choose to leave a review or a rating for the podcast. It helps this podcast in this very niche area of burnout recovery and prevention reach more listeners around the world. If you would love me to come into your team and deliver a detailed Protect the Asset workshop, that's one of my most popular workshops I deliver, and I'm now taking bookings for 2026. Otherwise, I'll catch you next week, and thanks for listening. Cheers. Thanks for listening to this episode. Schedule a 60-minute power hour with me and leave with relief, decisions made, and clear next steps. Or send me an email for a speaking inquiry. All information is available at drjobraid.com with links in the show notes.